All right, guys, next thing we're going to talk about is pH and POH and concentration. Now, remember that pH is the percent of hydrogen ions in a solution. Okay, remember the pH scale is 0 to 14. Now, the POH is the opposite of pH. This is the percent of hydrogen. This is the percent of hydroxide. And what we need to know about these is when we're looking at both of them, if we know one, we know the other. Okay, if we have a pH, say we have a pH of 9. Okay, all we have to do is we know that the pH scale, that's the percent of hydrogen. Well, it's a total of 14. So if we go 14 minus 9, we get 5. So if pH is 9, we know that POH is 5. Okay, so if we know one, we know the other. Now, what concentration is, concentration, basically what we need to know for the test is that when we have concentration, we can take the pH and it will be, all we have to do is put it 1.0 times 10, and that would be the negative ninth, and that would be the percent, the actual percent of hydrogen. Okay, because when we get pH, when we get POH, we're using a logarithmic function to find it. So we take the actual concentration and we do the log of it, and that gives us our pH. Now, POH would be the same thing. It's the percent of hydroxide, so it would be 1.0 times 10 to the negative fifth. Okay, what we'll see it on the test, these two guys will come out to be 10 to the negative ninth, and this will come out to be 10 to the negative fifth, and this will be big M, which is molarity. Okay, so that's our concentration. Just take the pH, put it to the negative, and the number, and POH negative to the number. And then again, if we're going backwards, if we have 10 to the negative ninth, we know that it is, and that's the percent of hydrogen. It'll look like this, telling us we have, that's the concentration. Well, then our pH will be 9. And if it's hydroxide, that's always our POH, and that would be 5. Okay, so when we get that, if you look at pH, see the H, POH, there's the OH. Okay, this only trick on pH, it could look like this, but the way we're going to see it on the test is just with the hydrogen. Okay, guys, that's pretty much it. It's going to be on the test. Make sure we study hard. For this test, if you want, you can use a 3x5 note card, only a 3x5 note card, and you can put whatever you want on it for the test. Remember, I'll stamp it, so leave a little room for me to stamp it, or don't. Hope you don't mind me putting a stamp over some of your work. You can put whatever you want on it. It has to be a 3x5 note card. Can't be a piece of paper. Can't be anything that looks like a piece of paper that in the shape of a 3x5. It has to be a 3x5 note card. If you do not have a 3x5 note card, then you can come see me on Tuesday morning and I will give you one, and you can sit down during tutoring time and you can write out whatever you want on it. But it has to be a 3x5 note card. If you bring something else, you will not be able to use it, so don't put your fit, not my fault. Just make sure you take care of business and use a 3x5 note card. 3x5 note card.